flossing your teeth before the show. You funny.
Right, man. Hey, that's that backstage stuff. You know how we do. Keep it live.
Oh my gosh, Coach. It has been a very fun time. It is your birthday month, July.
In the words of my boy Ice Cube, yay, yay.
And of course, we're excited to have you guys here for Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. My goodness, we are having a blast, and I know I'm going to be having a blast for our co-host, who will be going another revolution around the sun. So if you guys give a pre-happy birthday, July birthday shout out to your boy, Coach Tony. He's working on his track. My man's in them.
Hey, man, gonna drop it high. I'm trying to drop, and for those that don't know, I'm trying to drop it before my birthday, which is July 30th, the end of the month. So I'm in the, hey, like the young boys say, Val, I'm in the studio grinding. I'm in the grind.
You gotta get your grind on. You gotta get your grind on. So
hey, you're never too old. You know, I was listening to that's funny you said that, you know, and I appreciate, you know, House of Creativity and all the stuff. And it's great information for those that's not up in the morning. If you were up in the morning, want some things to do, jump in the House of Creativity, Val, start pushing that. But I was listening to a show the other day, and they were talking about, you know, which is very interesting, Val. And I don't even know if you know, but they gave a list of like African Americans who made it big time millionaires after the age of 60. You know, Mama D that was on, you know, to sit up on Do the Right Thing, and Desi Arnaz, you know, they just had a list of people. I was like, wow, that just started when they were 60, 65, and some of them acted into their 80s and 90s. And they put in 25 years from 60 to 85 and was like well paid. I was like, rip. So I looked at that to say, if you're grinding, I don't care if it's social media, I don't care if it's a normal job, I don't care if it's, you know, podcasting, I don't care if it's training, whatever it is, don't stop the hustle. Just continue, keep grinding, because only God knows when the door is waiting to open for you.
Exactly. And I'm so appreciative of that. And like I said, we are excited that you guys are going to be here hustling, but having a good time. But of course, we got to do the little intro, and it's getting ready to go drop right about now. It's another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're excited that you're joining us here in the building, in the virtual building.
And of course, the building is what we say. And I got to apologize to some of my fans, Val, because y'all see I got a little dark tan. I've been out in the middle of nowhere, man. I've been like these Africans hustling. I mean, the sun is baking them, brother. So, you know. Just...
I don't. Well, you know what? You come up more crisp. And all you have to do is just put on some, we all need a little, what is that? SPF 30. I don't know.
I'm probably using some 50. You know what I'm
saying? Oh, you fine. But of course, the book. Oh my goodness.
So when is the road show? When we hitting the road? When the rodeo show? Because I'm gonna need to be sitting up at the front door like this.
So I'm good. I'm excited. The book is available. We're going to be doing a tour eventually, but I'm still working on that. And I'm actually bringing somebody on to help me do the book tour. That's a good friend of mine. Her name is Terry Nelder. She bought the copy of the book, A DJ Saved My Life. That's this right here. I'm just so proud of the book here. So this is
you can't be proud of the book. You got to be proud of the person that put the book together. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that would be me too, or would that be my
Hey,
writing mentor?
you remember when Snoop Dogg gave his speech and he said, "I want to thank one person." He's like, "Who?" "Me." Don't forget to thank yourself, Al.
Well, I want to thank myself for staying focused to get this written because, Coach, I have always wanted to have a book. And the great thing about having something like this is I was able to kind of share about my mom, what went wrong, not what went wrong, but with her death and how I had to find something to do because all of us were locked down on in 2020, and with podcasting and being a virtual DJ, those two activities saved my life. So, song that was popular in 1981, 82, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. So I said, let's
About a group
all
called Deep for those that don't know.
So I'm just really excited to be able to and I'll get, you know what, I will thank myself for staying focused for 1 year to get this written. And I want to definitely make sure that I thank Monique Lisa Johnson as my writing mentor, who there were a lot of tears shed to get this written. So, but I also give the ABCs of podcasting as well. So if you want to get started with your podcast, this could be
Hey man, that's all I can tell you. Great. We're gonna get you to change your background now. We're gonna get you to change your background and put you in those virtual backgrounds for your book, How to DJ Save My Life. That's what you need. And you need to do it where you got the book on one side of you and then on the other side of you a QR code. So for the entire show, anybody looking at it, they can see the book and the QR code. Because I'm about to do the same thing. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that. So we should definitely do that. But of course, we're always happy for our affiliate sponsor. This would be KeySpot. Connect, share, and grow your business. And of course, the brand new website, purelighthouse.media.com, that was done from the partners over at KeySpot. Go to keyspot.app.com/free for more information about how, if you have a small business, can show up on the app. And now patreon.com/interludes, you guys. That is our behind the scenes. We've gotten some comments from some of the behind the scenes videos that we've done. It's myself, Coach. We're talking with our guests. Things are a little looser, so that's the reason why it's behind the scenes. They're like the outtakes or whatever. But of course, I've been writing and producing on that side. And so we have about 8 or 9 members. We got one person that's like, I'm ready to see the paid content. We're doing all of that there for patreon.com/interludes. And eventually I will be starting a podcasting community, which will be cool. And of course, Coach Tony has his Instagram. You go ahead and scan the QR code and do me a wonderful favor. Follow him on IG.
Man, what?
There
Man,
you
get
go.
on that ball. Just if one of every person follow me, then have your friends, and then your friends' friends, then your friends' friends' friends, then we can all be friends.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Let's just jump right into it. We are going to be talking about a couple of shows that have either recently come out or are due to come out. And we're going to be jumping around. Coach, I wanted to make sure that I stayed true to the assignment. And wait a minute, before I go into this Nelly and Ashanti thing, Coach, I'm going to be honest with you. Come a little bit closer to the camera if you won't mind. Come a little bit closer. There are unfortunately no major films or features that I'm interested in seeing in the month of July.
Ooh. Hey, did y'all get that? Because that was brand new news. They're going to hit the airways tomorrow on CNN.
I have no interest in the remakes that are coming out. I love Christopher Reeve as Superman. I don't know who the new white boy is. I'm sorry. I don't know who you are.
A lot of Netflix. A lot of Netflix.
But in jest, I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, where it's at is streaming. So I'm having a good time. Myself and Coach, we're having a good time letting you know what we are enjoying via streaming. So if you all are fans of Superman and the DC comic universe and If you want to see another version of Mean Girls, whatever that is, please enjoy it. These thoughts are not necessarily those of Pure Lighthouse Media or its affiliates. Okay, let's go back.
Man, let me tell you, I like this situation with Nelly and Ashanti, though. Sometimes they always say love doesn't come around the second time. There's a lot of people that become single for life, and they're cool with it based on things they do. And then there's a lot of people that had that one love, they lost it, and it may have taken years, sometimes decades. And then for this situation, it took over a decade, and they were able to get back at a situation where neither were too old, and they still were able to put together a family and have a family. So I really appreciate it. They've been kind of funny, but it's been cool because Nelly he ain't got no more touring career, and Shantae to put on a couple pounds here and there. So they just being a normal family now. And it's really cool.
I think back in the 2000s, and this was taken back earlier, I think they were a couple for a little bit. I don't know how long they were dating for, but Ashanti and Nelly, I think just kind of, I want to say, were in the same circles. She was on the Murder Inc. And then you got Nelly representing St. Louis. So I think they kind of rolled in the same circles. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they did, but they was on a different plane. Shantae was some heavy hitters, Biggie and a couple other people that she was, off on with a couple of her tracks and doing things early in her career. And Nelly had them St. Louis boys rolling. I mean, he, again, when him and Murphy Lee and all of them, my most famous track is still got to be Air Force Ones. I don't care what Nelly put out. I don't care what they talk about, but with him and Murphy Lee, then with Air Force One, give me 2 pairs. I want 2 pairs. Hey, I'm talking about Air Force One and one. That will be forever the St. Louis anthem to me, with all their right her, and all that stuff, the way they say it. But I'm glad because Val, they could have hit that fork in the road, and just kept, as I say, I'm going up a yonder. They could have kept it going up a yonder, but they were able to get an opportunity to circle back at the right time in each other's life. Now, think about that. How often maybe you looked at someone from back on the yard in school and thought, man, if I only could, or I wonder what they are, I wonder where they are, I wonder such and such, and man, if I only could. And they probably had those same thoughts, but when their thoughts came back around, they were both at the perfect moment in each other's lives, were able to pick back up, let the bygones be bygones, and now create a family. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I was really what I was thinking about, now they have recently appeared on the Today Show. Nelly is 50, Ashanti is 44 now, and they quietly got married according to this Yahoo article around.
Right, wasn't no Jeff Bezos wedding.
Huh?
So wasn't no Jeff Bezos wedding, right?
I don't think so. It was very quietly. They had rekindled their thing after they said they were together about 7 years, and then they broke up, and then they've now come back together. So she has 2 toddlers. There's 2 toddlers running around. So Nelly joked around and says that, at 50, this is a lot running around after 2 toddlers, but he loves Ashanti. And I think that's the thing about this reality show that's going to be on Peacock, that they're going to be talking about, because Nelly has kids from his previous marriage, and I think they're grown. And then, just kind of reuniting their life. And I think because the 2 of them were so famous in the music world, I think that people are going to take notice and go, well, let's check them out. But we need to give them fair warning. But before I give my fair warning, what else were you going to say, Coach?
Excuse me. No, I'm saying on what you just mentioned a moment ago as a boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
Have some grown ass kids and then jump back into the kid game. You got to be straight up focused, because we know at 50, the new kids ain't going to be treated like the old kids. We already know that, right? We know 22, 23, 25 years ago, when he was only 25, 27 years old. We know how those kids came up, and we know what they got in the conversation. And now he's over 50, and Ashante's in her early 40s and mid 40s. You know, they trying to get to the other side of the pasture. They ain't trying to be up in here smacking no kids and doing all this and that. So these kids, they lucky. And it's cool, too, because they got some really, really older big brothers and sisters to look up to, and then they can come in and do some things. So, again, I think if it's going to happen, you know, at least it was able to happen to two people where there's no drama. They know what to expect. Yeah, for right now, there's no drama. They know what to expect. Been there, done that. Everything from whatever. And now they just rewriting their own new chapter, right? They're rewriting their own new chapter.
Which is cool. And
you know it's gonna die though, Val, when you get over 50, you don't give a damn what people say.
Well, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. And here's the thing with the two of them doing this reality show. Personally, I just want to make sure that I go ahead and give you guys the warning. Usually, Coach, men and women who are they're in marriage or in a relationship and they turn on the cameras. I know you guys are doing this. You might be doing it for money or you might be doing it for whatever. Sometimes things can turn
ugly,
horrible, ugly.
Don't. The old Jason from the Woods theme.
So I saw this earlier, People Magazine. You had Portia Williams, who's one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think she's no longer on that show, but the scary thing is,
I think she's still on the show.
You think she's still on the show? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I'm almost positive. I think Portia's still on there. I think.
Okay, all right.
I think. What's her face? Candy. I think Candy's the one left because Candy had some things she was doing. Remember, she's got the thing in New York with Denzel Washington, and I think she left because she was so busy. But I think Portia's still there.
Yeah. So she unfortunately has gone through some things, and they recently, I think this is on newsstands right now, people actually going through the fictitious, and this is Waiting to Exhale. On this cover, it says Portia Williams can finally exhale. And I was just thinking, well, I love that movie, Waiting to Exhale. So why is she dressed up like Bernie, the character that was portrayed by Angela Bassett back in the 1995 film Waiting to Exhale? So I'm sitting here going, okay, well, like, what happened? So they said that she filed for divorce in February of 2024, and last month it was finalized. And what did you say? Now, she was married to husband Simon Gubadia, and I believe he's Nigerian. And so right. What happened? What did you hear about what happened with him, her and Simon?
Well, first of all, let me go back. For me, I'm never going to get the Portia out of my mind who thought that the damn Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman was underground. First of all, that removes me, but she got over that. She got over people thought that she wasn't educated, right? And kind of started to do some things. Then she started turning her life around, doing some major things, great home, and so forth and so on. But this marriage of hers, from what I remember and looking at it, because I actually watched the Atlanta Housewives. Believe it or not, y'all, I was watching Atlanta Housewives and I got away from it because I got busy doing other stuff. But from what this information I read is that she actually called the ICE enforcement on her husband to let them know he didn't have his green card as they were going through this major divorce, and had ICE come pick him up. Now, do you say that's trifling, or do you say that that is a smart play? That way, you ain't got to worry about somebody messing with you and dealing with you as you're trying to raise this child. So that's a great question to put on the table. In my personal opinion, from a male perspective, if that had occurred to me, I'd be pissed, and probably I would do even more whether I'm making phone calls to friends and people that I know in my inner circle to mess with her or do whatever to check on my child. As a person who understands, I would say, it's crazy that we have to sometimes get to that particular point to find peace in our life.
I know. And like I said, they were actively on the show, Real Housewives from Atlanta, And here's the thing: I'm not a huge fan, or I'm not a huge watcher of the Real Housewives. I know the most popular of that series is the one that's in Atlanta, but we'll just go ahead and ask the question and put it on the floor.
The original one is the one that the biggest show of all, is always the biggest grossing, is the Housewives of New Jersey. That's the biggest growth.
So that's the biggest one too. So I see Jay says Simon is deported now and only eligible to go to Dubai or Nigeria, probably where he's from. Thanks for letting us know about that, Jay. And then
we still got to get his paper.
Yeah, and Jay also says that Portia was upset that he wouldn't let her film at the house, which stopped her money. Yeah,
right. That's what kind of blew things up. And again, even if he's going to Dubai, or even if he's going wherever, he's not going to be able to get the kid. He's not going to be able to be around this child. As this child get ready to grow older and older, the child, trust me, the child's going to hear one perspective, and that's from the mother's point of view. And whether she throws the dad under the bus or, she has a working relationship, the child is not going to be in position to really understand and hear from the dad's perspective, because I'm sure any phone calls is going to be monitored or recorded, and because that's probably what Portia wants to do, and it's going to be from her perspective. So unless she has another male or another male figure to come in her life, and it don't have to be a companion, it could be as a supporting role where it's a mentor to her son, for athletics or whatever that may be, it's going to be a one-sided story as this kid get older. That's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah, and I think the scary thing about it all is that whatever happened between the two of them, because things were being tracked on this reality show, when did it become, I don't want this anymore? Because Simon must have, if he said, I don't want the cameras in the house anymore, or I don't want this to happen, like if you knew you were marrying a reality star, because Portia has been a reality star for over 10 years. She's been on that show for a long time. So, okay. But like I said, back to Nelly and Ashanti.
Before you go back there, that's no different than Peter was married, to basically my close family member when, he was doing the same thing. And, they had their big tug of war, even on the child. So, again, I think you make a great point. I don't care if it's the Kardashians, right? We've seen their mess. We've seen their drama. But we know if you mess with the damn Kardashians, you rich at the end of the day. We see this. We see a couple of New Jersey Shores. I watched pretty much all those because the Jersey Shores guys, old boy DJ, and he done became a famous DJ behind this crowd. So you go put up with the crowd, but people know your name. Now he's in the clubs. He's making millions now. So it's crazy. So, but if you're going to, like to your point, if you're going to be with me, and this is the Tony Tone, or this is the Pull Up Podcast Show, or Interludes, and you know what I'm doing, and I'm telling you, and then you go blow up, and then all of a sudden I blow up, and I got to have cameras here and there, following through the airport, going to dinner, going this, and if you can't take it, then you should have jumped on a boat from the beginning, because that boat was already riding way before Simon came into the picture. So I'm sure they sit down and had that talk, and once you sign that paperwork, Val, you know as well as I do, that contract gets signed, the TV can give a damn if your spouse don't like it, because they're following you, and the TV is following Portia.
Right. So like I said, now you have Simon and Portia, I guess, in happier times, and on the other side you have Angela Bassett photographed from that famous scene that she reenacted when, here's the thing. I heard someone joke around and says, I wouldn't burn up a classic car like a BMW. I would do something else. I wouldn't burn up a car, but that's not the point. It was just her anger. That's representing her anger. And when people,
And you don't know what the hell you'll do. That person that said that, they can say all they want. But you heard you doing something, shit, you turn around in the act of a moment. It could be a second. You got a flame. When you remember how that scene went when Angela Bassett burnt it up, she was done. And so you have no idea, when you just, you just go react and do something, and it's just, I always look.
and I see Coach has frozen. That is not cool when that happens, but that's fine. But definitely, this is my warning to Portia. No, this is my warning to Ashanti and Nelly. Hopefully, you will have agreed to doing this reality show. Just know, please, just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh my gosh. I'm going to take Tony off the screen because I see that he is his something is going on with his computer or whatever, but that's fine. But I had a question, and I see Jay. Jay said this. He said, if Simon hit up my mans and them, he'd be back in the A. Wow. You got jokes. You got jokes, Jay. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm telling you. Now I have to say this, and I'm grateful that I saw this earlier. Mr. Springer, Kevin, is our moderator for Interludes Talk on Tuesdays. And of course, he says, good evening. Shout out to you guys. Val, I got the book, my autograph copy. Thank you so much. We'll soon find out how a DJ saved my life. We would love your review on the book. And thank you so much for supporting the platform by being here and then getting this. And of course, he says, for sure, Val, we appreciate you so very much. Oh my goodness. Now, Coach got a chance to watch the show Forever. But before we get to Forever, because we were slated to talk about a few other things, but I wanted to let you guys know about Ironheart. Have you heard about the new Disney Plus series, Ironheart? I am excited to get a chance to sit down and watch this series. And so I was thinking, you know what? Let me make sure that I find out from my audience if you guys are even interested in Ironheart. Now, if you guys are trying to figure out, like, okay, well, Val, what are you talking about? Ironheart is what Disney series? We haven't heard of it. But if you guys have been in the MCU universe, because this is what happens now, the MCU universe makes sure that you have the folks that were in Wakanda Forever. That was Black Panther #2. And I was trying to figure out, they said, you know what? They're going to do a spinoff with Riri Williams. And she is she's a person that's from Chicago who's MIT educated, and Ironheart is one of these shows that I was thinking, is it going to be something similar to Iron Man? Is it different? And I was just really excited to see. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up the trailer, and I see Mr. Springer. He says, I watched the first 3 episodes of Ironheart. Definitely enjoyable. If you guys got a chance to see the first episode, I got through episode 1 and I was intrigued, but I understand how the series works on Disney. It just works a little bit different. So I want to make sure, and I saw a couple of reviews for Ironheart, and I was like, you know what, but I'm going to talk to my audience and I'm going to find out if they want to see it and like it at all. So let me go ahead and here's the thing. I have a connection or love that the characters are based in Chicago. So I found out that it's shot a little bit in Chicago, and a lot in Atlanta. But let's go ahead and take a look at I want to call it the trailer for Ironheart, because I need you guys to let me know if you're interested in seeing this series, or you're going, oh, that's going to be a strong pass. I hope not. All right, let's check it on out. This is the Ironheart trailer. You guys take a look.
Hello? For real?
Welcome, Riri. In less than 3 minutes, the air in this elevator will no longer be breathable.
Oh, what is this?
Your interview. You'll suffocate and die unless you break into the device on the floor, where you'll find a gas mask. Good luck.
Screw this.
I heard Riri Williams was a genius. So you in or out? Riri, I see you. I see you're fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
You are not the first genius at MIT.
How come you're not working at one of those fancy tech firms?
After my internship abroad, I want to build something undeniable, something
Important?
iconic.
It's a brand new
I can give you the tools to help you carry out your vision. But anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done. What will you do, Riri?
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew.
I could chew a lot.
You know nothing about this man.
You're gonna end up dead or in jail.
This is so much bigger than that.
This is wild. A shady bunker.
My bunker's not shady.
Would a shady bunker have that on the wall?
It's literally above a crate of self-guided missiles.
I'm returning those.
I'm telling you, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. That is oh, I'm excited. And like I said, I'm thinking I want to continue to see the series. And of course, Kevin has already said that he's checked out the first 3 episodes, which is cool. And so I don't know. What do you all think about Ironheart? Is it something that you would want to see? Is it something that even piques your interest? And here's the thing, Ryan Coogler, he's not necessarily directing or writing any of the episodes, but right now he is I want to call it the producer. He is one of the executive producers on the show. And so, I'm sitting here thinking, I want to see where Riri goes, and I want to see how things are going to be happening with the show. And so if you guys were fans of Black Panther, come on, man. I was trying to figure out, because this is what's been happening in the MCU universe, is that if a film has done well, and especially if there was a comic that's based on one of the characters that's in one of the larger films, it's going to get a spinoff. And they had been talking about doing Ironheart since, I want to say, just before or just after Wakanda Forever finished up. No, just before Wakanda Forever finished, before it it was released in late 2022. And of course, Kevin, he says it's a series that actually brings AI to life. Also love how it shows how women of color have the potential to excel and in fact change the world. Thank you so very much for that. There's a couple of reviews that said that the AI, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, that actually comes to life isn't realistic, but I liked her. I liked her character. And if you guys, this is Siri and Riri together in one of the scenes in Wakanda Forever. So that's how we got introduced to Riri in the first place in that particular film. But of course, this is a phenomenal ensemble cast. And one of the folks that's a part of it that I'm excited to talk about is who plays I want to call it the villain. I don't know if I want to say it. Anthony Ramos. And of course, a lot of us know him from Hamilton and a few other things that he's done. But also we have Dominique Thorne, who heads the cast as Riri Williams. And then you also have Manny Montana, and I like him, Lyric Ross, Jalen Murrin, Matthew Elam, Harper Anthony, Angel White, Sonia Dennis, and then also a few other folks. Cree Summer, you guys may not recognize her name, but if you recognize Freddie from A Different World, Cree Summer is in 2 episodes. I'm excited about that. And like I said, this seems to be, like I said, a really good, great ensemble cast that has come together for this particular series. So it's 6 episodes in total. 3 are already streaming on Disney Plus. One of my favorite actors from what is this? Chicago PD. I'm looking at his picture, and for some reason, Leroyce Hawkins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my boy. He is in this, and I'm telling you, looks like it's going to be fun. But the ratings have been low, or some of the ratings have been low. But when other people get a chance to see it, people are loving it. And I saw the first episode. I was drawn in, but of course, Coach Tony, I'm biased. I love to see us portrayed as smart in figuring out things, using AI, figuring and putting together this. They had Robert Downey Jr. appear via phone when I think Anthony Ramos and oh my gosh, Dominique Thorne appeared on Good Morning America, one of the shows, and saying how much, and it was Robert Downey Jr. because he played Iron Man, saying that I really support this film. I think, Dominique, you've done a great job. And I was thinking, I'm glad he's coming to say something nice about it. But there's been a couple of folks that have said some horrible things about it and just kind of going, well, it's not realistic. She got $80 million to do research and why is she, all this smart? And I was just thinking, you mean to tell me we have to be racist in the MCU? I don't understand.
Yep.
Do we have?
And that's the reason why I like, as I mentioned earlier, I said, wow, speaking of Downey Jr., he got his nerves, but for him to come out and support, to me, that was awesome, because you gotta look at it. I look at it, what you just mentioned, on the complete other side. With Robert Downey Jr. coming out and saying something, it's kind of like Denzel Washington putting a stamp on a black film, right?
Right.
And especially when he was Iron Man. And he could have simply came on and said, listen, you did your best. Y'all, it's a play on words. You tried to flip what I already did. This has already been there, done that. He could have said all type of things. But to say he really liked it and all that, he's got millions of followers, and that brings a few more people that don't normally shine that light on. I don't know what's wrong with us as a people, because we sometimes are more critical and hard on ourselves than the masses. We sometimes can get the doors open by the masses than we do our own folk. We already know that, and it's a killer, but you have to go support it. you have to at least watch it to say you don't like it. I'm not been able to get it because I don't have the Disney app and all that. But I've seen the trailer. I want to see it. I'm just glad to see young folks like this, Val, in a movie, a big statement, because you're in the Marvel world, like you said. So there's a lot of kids and other people, and there's a lot of Marvel people, right, that we know that's going to be critical of that. But those are the people that are making comment because they're used to watching Thor, right? They're used to watching the Fantastic Four. They're used to watching him. They're used to watching all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes this young African-American girl portraying, and she's trying to do that same thing and having a split city from movies filmed in Chicago and half in Atlanta. And then they're like, oh, man, it ain't this and that. Give it a shot. Give it a chance.
Yeah. And I think, it's hard, especially for Black women showrunners, people that are responsible for the series. You have someone, and I just put it up there. Her name is Shanika Hodge, and she is the showrunner for Ironheart. And so for me, that's Ryan Coogler kind of handing this off to her, saying, we know you're going to do a great job. And she's been a writer for a couple of things, the Snowpiercer, the Midnight Club, amazing story. So she's been writing and doing some things for a little bit. So this is a major thing. And I'm mentioning her as a showrunner and writer because when we talk about the other series that you're loving right now, it's all in the writing. And so if we give Ironheart a chance, because I unfortunately, Coach, this is my experience with Disney Plus series, especially the ones that's in the MCU. It takes a little longer to get to the action because they want to establish a foundation around.
Right. But once they get to the action, it ain't coming out. It ain't like, now people, listen, we're not watching my homeboy who I love to death, having to bump into him in the airport. He's only about 2'5" tall. But, we ain't like we watching, Tom Cruise, right? With Tom going to turn the TV on and smack you in the face and punch you in the nose within the first 5 minutes. You already know what you get with Tom Cruise. But we got to build her up. We got to build this character up, right? And so it seems to me that if we allow that and give it a chance, it's no different than watching my girl Keke Palmer, right? Nakeela the Bee. And now she's a huge mega superstar now. That wasn't brought up. She was smart, playing a very intelligent role from the spelling bee perspective. Who cares about a freaking spelling bee? But Lawrence Fishburne, the way he broke it down and that character and made it all come together was like phenomenal. And now, fast forward 15, 20 years later from that, and spelling bees around the United States, around the world are still
it's a big thing.
People are still tuned into them.
It's a big thing. It is a big thing with spelling bees. And I think with a lot of, and this, I think about STEM research and science and AI and engineering. This needs to encourage the next young generation to study and to, pursue this. This is a young lady that was at MIT. Do you know how hard it is to get into MIT? I have a cousin that graduated from MIT. It's hard. It is
difficult. Yes.
So things can happen in the fictional world first, but it's always good to, when we say representation matters, it matters because we can see that this can happen. And if you are a young Black girl who have been told you are a nerd and why are you always tinkering with things and breaking things down? Be a nerd. Be a nerd.
I'd rather you be a nerd and be talked about than to be out there and be talked about. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But I'm very curious to see how Anthony is going to be playing the Red Hood. This is one of the huge, I want to call it, villains in the MCU universe. So he's being introduced in this series. So I wonder if something is going to, probably spin off into Preacher. I don't know, but Anthony, I saw an interview with Dominique and Anthony together, And I think they were talking to one of the interviewers from Entertainment Tonight, and he was saying that if you are someone in this universe, in the MC universe, if you're the main person, you're gonna lose a parent. They'd be taking parents. And he had Dominique and the interviewer just cracking up. He was like, "Yeah, Disney be taking out parents," and I'm like, "Dude,
Oh yeah, don't take your old school dad, old school mom to see it, because you're gonna be in a movie. You're gonna just shut up, shut up. They try to tell you to be quiet.
So I said, he gave an example and said, "You remember Mufasa gone?" And I was thinking, "Oh
Right.
yeah, he did die in Lion King."
Right. And everybody was sad as hell. They're like, damn, Mufasa come. Ah, man.
So, so everyone being all excited about the younger actor Aaron Pierre, and they're like, "Yeah, Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa." But when I thought about his name, I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, his character dies in the remake." So yeah,
Right.
it's Disney.
But again, that's why I'm hoping, Val, that this young lady does well, because I know they're knocking her. I'm just hoping that she understands that to continue to work, continue the journey. Everyone's not going to like you, and you need the haters. I'll look at it in reverse. If they weren't hating on her, the character, that means that she didn't do a good job, right? Because when you've done a job so well, the masses are like, oh, wait a minute, we're not going to let you take out Iron Man. Hold on, what you doing? So they're going to cut you up. And then, the good thing about it is they watched your whole movie, because in order to make those comments, they got to watch it.
Exactly. So Dominique Thorne, you are rocking it out. I have renewed my Disney Plus subscription just to watch this series, because I was like, I got to watch it. I saw the first episode. I was trying to get to the other two, but I had to prepare for this show. But I'm telling you guys, check it out. Let us know what you think, especially on the interwebs, on Facebook and LinkedIn. Did you check out Ironheart? Did you like it? There's another 3 more episodes that's coming out. They're going to roll it out week by week. And then if it does well, there should be a season 2, because the third in the Black Panther series, that's not coming out to either 2026 or 2027. And of course,
I heard Gisele's in that one, and that's the reason why.
I was just about to mention that.
Yeah, and that's why, in my personal opinion, that Disney's not going to catch Netflix. Netflix, they're going to dump it on us. See, they want you to sit your ass at home from Friday or Thursday to Sunday and binge watch, right? And Netflix is cool with that. And because the more you can binge watch, they'd rather stack up 50 million people in a 72-hour time frame than to stack up 50 million people in 6 weeks.
Wow. Yeah. So I think there's something to it with doing Ironheart as a series, and then making sure if the interest is there, then we will go into the feature, make it into a feature film. But we were introduced to her character in Wakanda Forever. So our people are like, all right, well then that means we can go ahead and see her, do some other things. So I'm excited about that. Exactly. So that's cool. Now, we didn't mention this in the description, but I definitely would want to talk to Tony about this. And a couple of weeks ago, I did review and talk about the series called Forever.
Yep,
now,
I wasn't that night. Exactly.
Coach,
Yep.
I'm assuming you were just a big fan of the show. You got a chance to check it out. What were your thoughts? How many episodes have you done? How many episodes have you seen?
First of all, I'm more of a big fan of Regina King. And
Regina and her sister Rena went ahead and produced this too.
Right? So, and then the second thing is, when I saw my guy, Coach Hernando Planels, my boy, in there, and since you watching that, you probably didn't pick that up. He's a high school basketball player.
I picked it up. I swear to you, I picked it up. Go ahead.
So when you watching things like that, I was immediately hooked, right? Because I want to see my boy do well. And then I'm a big Regina King fan. And then when I got a chance to see that, I'm like phenomenal. And then it was in my lane. And then I could speak to that. You know, if you're a guy or an athlete or a situation in that, and you were in there, you could go back and put yourself. Whether I was in college, running around on the yard in high school, I put myself. I could see that. I remember that situation when I was trying to be the big ball player at Morgan Park and doing this and that, but I was trying to chase, you know, when I thought my future and this and that. Some young girl over at Kenwood High School that later on became nothing, you know. And then I went on to college and thought I was going to do the same. So when this movie came and I'm watching, series came and I'm watching this young man get completely taken out of his first love, right, which is basketball, to another love. And first thing I thought about is, oh, this is going to be a cheap version of love and basketball. I ain't going to like none of this. But when you watch it, the spin was completely different because it was the young girl who got put in a difficult situation by some guy who thought they were doing something kind of cool, and it ended up being basically something that he can go to prison or jail for. And then you get this other kid who comes along who tried to act like he Mr. Macho Man, ain't never had a girlfriend, ain't never did nothing. He's a virgin and the whole 9 yards. So he's learning on the fly right with it. So I thought Regina King did a hell of a job. And they got my boy, what's his name, to play the daddy from The Wire?
Wood Harris.
Yeah, Wood, man, that's my man's in there.
Yeah,
you know, I love. He reminded me so much of me because I'm watching him and the stuff he's saying. Hey, boy, man, you got your mama, man. Girl, cool out. Go on out this door. I deal with the heat with your mama. Go ahead and go. Go and get your girl. Go pick her up right now. And then he come in the room and, you know, what you know about this? You trying to go there? I know if you two in the same room, I don't care about her. I just don't trust you. So I need to make sure you know what you're doing. So he plays a great father role, and Regina King has him down to earth. It's not like one of those dads that you see that's out in the rich suburb with a big old house doing this and that, and they have that. So she gave them two successful Black people, male and female, who still together and got their family and raising two athletes, one baseball player, one basketball guy, and then see their son fall in love and get his heart crushed. Loved it.
Yeah. So I reviewed this several weeks ago. Coach caught up. He's like, Val, I love this series. And I said, wonderful. But the one thing that I love is that this was created by one of my favorite showrunners who her success, The Game, Girlfriends, Being Mary Jane. This is Marie Braca Kills Forever. And this is based on the Judy Blume 1975 book that was banned in a lot of areas. Just based on this. And for Judy Blume, who is still living, kind of giving a wink and a nod to Akil to go ahead and to produce this is phenomenal. And I know that Coach keeps mentioning Regina King. She's not in the series. She is one of the producers. So I just want to give a major shout out to Michael Cooper Jr., who plays Justin, and Lovey Simone, if you guys remember her from Greenleaf. I loved her in Greenleaf. Keisha Clark. And so these two young actors, this show kind of rests on their shoulders, and I'm really excited for. And Karen Pittman, who I remember her from what was that? Luke Cage. Karen Pittman played the top police dog there, and then she's been in a bunch of other things as well. But I loved her as the mom because she portrayed the mom very well.
She played the mama too, and I'm so glad, Val, that they left it in a high school setting. You know, if it had been a college, if this thing would have been the same type of series in a college environment, then I don't think it would have came off the same because you'd have been at college. The script may have been a little different because now they got to come up on the yard to try to get the kid, and some other things could have jumped off. It could have been like a quasi 2025 version of Higher Learning, right? But it was so good to see that they kept it in high school because this is when those little things happen in life.
Right. Yeah. And I think here's the thing. I can't recommend it for everybody because
Right.
this is the thing. The kids are experience. That's the reason why the book was banned, because it's based on what happened in the book. So there are some sex scenes and stuff. So I can't recommend it for everybody. But for the folks that understand and know, if you are a parent, you totally get it. They have two excellent actors portraying the parents. If you remember your first love and things you did, and here's the thing. I'm glad you didn't mention exactly what it was that was kind of the thing that happened. We didn't deal with this. We were both in college and high school, where with cell phones. We didn't have cell phones back then, so I didn't realize that it is a crime if you take a picture or a video of someone and you guys are doing stuff and you send that around. And I know that has ruined a lot of people's young people. You have to watch how what you're photographing and what you're doing with that. You can't do that. You can't film, especially without permission, even though you said this
you gotta have all that anyway. I'm gonna ask you a question. What was the one thing about the series that threw you for a loop that kind of like made you go, wow? I'm gonna tell you mine.
Well, I was thrown for a loop with the series when it was kind of that, and I'm going to refer back to Michael Cooper's character Justin. He got better with playing basketball, and when he put it out to say, I'm going to show you that I can do this. And his parents was at the game, where at first he was sat down, and I was thinking, do they do that? They just sit you down where you don't play? He was
I'll do that today.
Yeah. So he took the ball. Yeah, he took the ball and he started playing, and it was like a turn of his confidence. And Michael Cooper plays Justin's. He does a very nice balance of playing his innocence and then kind of that, no, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for this. I'm gonna fight for who I care about. No, I didn't mean this. I meant to text you, but I didn't text you correctly. And it's like, okay, so I thought that push and pull of him kind of fighting this. So no, I'm a man. I can accept. I can do these things. It didn't. Yeah. And here's the thing, that didn't really throw me for a loop, but I was proud of his character and how he kind of stood up for himself. Like, no, I can play ball, and I'm gonna make sure I do my homework. I'm gonna make sure that I write these things out. I'm gonna, I want the privilege of having my phone back, Mom.
Right. And I'm gonna add on to what Val was saying and boomerang back to my point. And the only piece she's leaving out is that the kid was ADHD. So that becomes another situation. So you're looking at a character like that, he's already got a flaw. So to my perspective I was glad the way the writers and Regina and all the staff wrote it, that usually, Val, in these type of movies, is the male in the hood. But this one was the female lived in the hood.
Right.
Yeah, and the young male was rich, but he had a learning disability because of his ADHD. And that he wanted everything to be perfect in his world, in his head, but it didn't come out to that way. But what was so cool, the scene you talk about, it was her who told him, relax, go play your game, do what you do, show them that you can play. Now, Coach P was like me, like, hold on, boy, what you doing? He just checked himself in the game. Because if you don't show up and show out, your ass get to practice tomorrow, you're going to probably be hearing from me. You probably going to not want to be on his team. But he showed up and showed out. And the scene out of the entire movie, to me, early on or middle to the series, that really brought everything together, that really made me proud of the kid was, one, as she fought through this tough and difficult situation that her mother wanted to do it, he stuck by her. And that's what I like about the dad's go get your girl, man, stick by her. But the night that he was over with her at the beauty salon, getting her hair done, and the women told him to go tell the next door neighbor to cut the music down.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on, and him and my man connected, and he never
Right.
knew he was good on music, and boom, that was it. I love it.
Yeah. And I like I said, I think Michael Cooper did a really great job in portraying Justin, and just kind of, I forgot about the ADHD. That was something. And Keisha Clark, I loved oh gosh, I don't want to mispronounce her name. Shelley Clark. I can't think of the actor's name, but I don't want to mispronounce it. But the young lady, the actress that portrayed Keisha's mom, did
My
a
mother,
really
yeah,
good job.
great job, great job.
Did a great
Multiple
job of
jobs,
playing the
live in
mom.
the hood. She tried to go get the money. I love it.
Yeah, just hardworking, just kind of showing that as well. And I was like, wow, this is really exciting. So if you guys have not seen Forever, it was actually released back in, and I want to say May May of this year. It is currently streaming on Netflix. You guys can go ahead and check it out. But it's one of our picks for the summer. So if I reviewed it and Coach has now come back and said, no, I actually liked it too, and one of our pull-up podcast show guests was on it as a coach, yeah, we were very proud of this. So yeah. Oh my goodness. But you know what, we do want to mention this is, I don't know if you guys are a fan of Squid Game, but Squid Game has come back. It is currently streaming on Netflix, and I'm excited to see. I saw the first season, and the first season really wowed me. And I'm telling you guys, if you guys haven't seen, the third season of Squid Game is currently streaming on Netflix. It is really a trip, man. I'm telling you guys. Oh my goodness. I see Coach. Something must have happened again with his situation, but it's all good. We're going to go ahead and keep it going. So if you haven't seen Squid Game, it's not for the faint at heart. The show is not for the faint at heart. Childhood games gone bananas. It's not for the faint at heart. Coach Tony has checked out this series as well. This series now, it's gone 3 seasons, shot in South Korea. A lot of the South Korean actors that are a part of this franchise. It's gone 3 seasons, and we just found out that I just found out that this is the last season. And I was thinking, why didn't it have 5? So Squid Game is currently streaming. And like I said, this is not for the faint at heart, because the first season jacked me up. I don't know about anyone else, but the first season of Squid Game jacked me up. I just was thinking, this premiered in 2021. And we were kind of told, you need to check this out. And a lot of the actors that are part of the series, this has been really fun for them. And I think the main actor, Lee Jung Jae, who plays Sunggon, he's a phenomenal actor, and he's been in some other things as well. But South Korea is proud of this particular series, and they match it with English as much as possible. But I could tell they're speaking Korean. But I'm just like, this is something to, like I said, it's not for the faint at heart. So I say, go ahead and check it out. If childhood games with death is entertainment, I'm just saying. But it's really rough. Oh my goodness. But my goodness, we are excited today talking Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. And I'm just grateful that you guys got a chance to join me and Coach Tony on tonight. And of course, we just did a kind of a breakdown of some of the shows that we are watching. The Bear is something that is currently on Hulu/FX. It's now in its, I believe, 3rd season, Emmy Award winning show. And so I'm checking that out as well, and that's shot in Chicago. So I'm biased. Shows that are shot in Chicago or have Chicago ties, I am trying to check it out as much as possible. So that's kind of how that works for me. And of course, we're excited. Coach Tony, I guess he is dealing with what he's dealing with, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it on up. And for myself, I want to make sure that I tell you guys about the book, the regular book, A DJ Saved My Life. That is available now on purelighthouse.media.com, the print version. I got a chance to send out a copy to Mr. Springer. And Mr. Springer, thank you so very much. He let me know early on here in the show that he got his signed copy. I think that's what I think he told me that early on. Yep. He said that he got his signed copy. And so, Kevin, if you are still here, if you're still listening, go ahead and take a picture of the book and post it on LinkedIn and let us know what you thought about it, especially after the first couple of chapters. So I've had another fan of the book, Lori. She got a chance to read it and she gave me a glowing review. And so I'm gathering reviews to place on purelighthouse.media.com. Thank you so very much for that love and support as we go ahead and continue with that. Man, oh man, 2 weeks ago, we had Demetrius German, who is known as Pharaoh the Prince, and music producer T-Zone. This was such a great show on Talk on Tuesdays. This is now an audio podcast right now. So we're calling it Beats, Bars, and Big Dreams, Pharaoh the Prince, T-Zone, and the Pull Up Podcast Anthem. You guys go ahead and scan the QR code. That's not to the visual podcast, that's to the audio podcast. So I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to go ahead and check that out. It is called Beats, Bars, Big Dreams, Pharaoh the Prince, T-Zone, and the Pull Up Podcast Anthem. And so we celebrated Black Music Month the entire month of June. And so we were very happy that they broke down how they produced the song for Coach Tony. I think he tried to come back on, but we'll see if we can get him back before we close out. And then, of course, patreon.com/interludes is where you get all the background things that happen. Oh, my Lord. Okay, I think coach is coming back. So, yes, patreon.com/interludes. That's where our back is. And of course, we're doing our thing. I was telling everybody, Coach, about it's now an audio podcast called Beats, Bars, and Big Dreams, Pharaoh the Prince, T-Zone, and the Pull Up Podcast Anthem. And so I was letting them know that that's now an audio show. And we are celebrating our 5th anniversary of the Interludes podcast. So I sometimes turn our shows here on Talk on Tuesdays into an audio show. So you go ahead and scan that QR code, or we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean, and other places where you get your audio podcasts. It's edited down to 30 minutes. If you want the full experience, you come here to YouTube. But yeah, Coach, this was really a good
I know that was a great show, and love my nephew. Them come on, and me and T-Zone is working on my house track right now. Again, called My Man's and Them. It's funny for those that don't know, kind of like Val's book, DJ Saved a Life. I kind of put this together to tell the truth as a joke with Val. That kind of got flame thrown and gas thrown on it. And you know how that goes. People say, I double dog dare you. So you just figure it out. And so it became a situation with my girl, CJ Charles. I love her to death. And we have one of the best commercials, I think, that we run inside to Pull Up. And love what CJ is doing with the children's books. And then it went on. Then I started to sit down, and then Val and I were talking, and all of a sudden, talk became, oh, you know something? I think I can do this. If Val wrote a book inspired by some situations in her life, and I'm talking about throwing back, because what I do know for those that love music, house music is on a big comeback between now and 2030. House music will run the entire system. All genres, R&B, country, hip hop, house music would be the number one worldwide. So with it making a big return to the stage, I figured, you know something? Let me get a track out early on, like a stock in an IPO. I can get it out right now. Might be like a brother at a gas station smoking a cigarette, pal. Boom, boom, I'm about to blow up.
I'm just saying, we looking forward to that track. My man's in them, and
And
of
it's
course,
going to be on my show. I'm bringing it on the Interludes Talk on Tuesday show because it's the music. We're gonna break it down, let it be broke.
so Beats, Bars, Big Dreams, Fair of the Prince, T-Zone, and the Pull Up Podcast Anthem. Just look for that on purelighthouse.com/podcast or stream it on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. It's everywhere. So I'm excited to go ahead and tell you guys about that. And I was in the middle of telling you guys about our patreon.com/interludes. Of course, the articles, the behind the scenes, those things are always happening. And of course, we welcome you guys to come check us out. We have about 8 to 10 members over there, but you can join for free and find out what we're doing as we continue to move on. Now, of course, Coach Tony, his IG.
It's the Pull Up Podcast Show, IG. And it's just that it's there. Coach Tony at the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Pull on up and check him out. Follow him on IG as we're building up his platform. And on next week, I think I have this here. On next week, we have a special guest. Coach, you want to let us know?
Man, let me tell you something. Coming from the illustrious group under Brother Diggs in Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated, my brother has achieved great achievements of there, is going to be talking to us, Val, or talking to me about his journey to be the commissioner of what? The Cotton Bowl. And for those that understand the Cotton Bowl, understand football, know that's one of the biggest bowls in the country with the Big 12. Texas, Oklahoma, Deion Sanders, them now with Colorado. So Val, this young man is doing some huge things, and we're going to talk about his plight. And you're going to learn something because I not only want to hear what he had to say, but I actually asked him a question about how can young brothers who are in college right now have an opportunity to communicate with someone like you at your level and be in position to be ready for job opportunities. I'm not going to give it away because I want you to hear his answer. And if you're a young guy or girl in college, in sports management, doing anything of that nature, and you want to stay involved in the sports management and figure out how you can get involved with something like this, you need to tune in Monday. Don't meet me there. Girl, homie, meet me there.
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you. Well, thank you so very much. I'm going to be there next week. We're both going to be there next week. We are 3 people away from getting to 2,500 subscribers with the YouTube
Man, let's do that
channel.
tonight.
Let's do that tonight.
Get on your. I don't want to hear all that. Subscribe tonight. Let's kid. It's the 4th of July. Boom, boom. Let's push that button. Give me 3 people. Subscribe tonight. If you're listening to this show and you're listening to it, but you're not a subscriber, then listen but subscribe. Come on,
So we are right there at 2,500, almost at 2,500 subscribers. And as of yesterday, we crossed and we now have 1,000 folks that are a part of our Facebook group. Thank you so very much for joining and having fun with us. But we'll be back on next week. Coach, this has been fun.
You know, it's fun because I spent all this time last week in Central America, south of the border, down in Belize area, where it was hot and it rained every damn day. You can set your clock. You can set your clock on a storm at 4:30, right? So if you are a beautician and you want to make some money, move down there because if you're a black woman, you're getting your hair wet. And you know how y'all get. You got to go get the money. But yeah, it was great. And it was a good opportunity to go down there. Some of my guys do some big things. And by the way, some of the guys have been on the show, George and Cam. I want to say congratulations. They were over with Coach Richard, who was on the show. They were over in Italy this past week. So some guys been doing some pretty big things. So I appreciate them. And of course, my homeboy, Coach Travis McAveen, has been with us. Of course, Coach and Tony Cole. And by the way, they're going to be getting our Big Baller Brand stuff out pretty soon. And the Big Baller Brand is making some moves. And they're going to be on their way doing some major things. And so continue to watch the pull-up because they'll be back on the show again.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, on behalf of myself and Coach Tony, you know what we do and what we say at the end. Peace.